Oh, yeah. This is a bone-in Boston butt roast. This is what we're going to use to do our pulled pork today. We got it from HEB, and you can get this whole thing bone-in for only 15 bucks. It's really not all that expensive. So come along with us while we do this. I'm going to get this out of the package. As soon as it's out of the package, we'll cut back in, and I'll show you how I take care of prepping it for the actual smoker. We'll see you in just a second. All right, we got it out of the package here. First things, I'm going to go ahead and dry it off as much as I can. I put paper towels underneath it like you can see to kind of get that underside. I just want to get all this excess liquid off of here. This is just breakdown from the meat, leftover blood or whatever, so we'll get all of that off there. All right, so now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and score it. So I'm gonna put cross-section cuts, and you'll see the first one here. I like to do pretty deep cuts on this. It's gonna allow the smoke to get really deep into that meat. Okay, now I'm gonna rotate it and do the same thing. Now we've got it all scored up and everything like that. You can see it goes all the way down into the meat, passes up the actual fat layers here. At this point here, you can do one of two things. You can either put a binder on it, or you can just put your seasoning directly onto it. There's enough moisture in this that I'm not going to worry about that binder. So give me just a second. We'll get back with the seasoning, and I'll show you how heavily I season this up. We're using Meat Church The Gospel, really well-balanced seasoning. And when we're putting this on here, go really heavy-handed. You want to get into all the crevices and creases. All right, now that I got it seasoned up on this side, pretty much about how I want it, I'm gonna start rotating it. I'm gonna get the sides of it some more. And this is a really big chunk of meat, so don't be afraid to use a fair amount of seasoning. And I know if you look down at the board here, we obviously have a lot of seasoning on the board for this other side. I'm gonna just take it and start rolling it in it. Picking up all that extra seasoning. Try not to waste anything. And now we're just finished seasoning it up. Make sure that you pat the meat. You don't want to rub it, because as you rub it, you're going to rub some of that rub off. So you just pat it so that everything sticks and adheres. So with that, do one more side wash on the actual cutting board for the extra seasoning on here. Look for any bald spots. And there we go. We've got it all scored. We've got it seasoned. It already looks fantastic. Now, let's prep the Traeger. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's go cook. So I don't know what you guys are using, but I use a Traeger for 99.9% of my cooks these days. For me, all this white smoke here, this is when it's still igniting, it's still prepping. That's dirty smoke. You want to wait for it to clear out completely. Once that's cleared out, then you can start the preheating process, and then we can get to cooking. So we'll be right back with that. Remember to clean as you go. Happy spouse, happy house. We just monitor the temperature, and we cook on temperature. So once it gets to that internal temp of around 172, then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll finish cooking it from there. So for right now, onto the smoker, and we'll just let it roll, and we'll see you here in a second. All right, go ahead and take this, just put it right in the middle there, and then I'm gonna take the probe, and I'm gonna stick it right in this end here, put it all the way through, deep down into the center of that meat. Now we'll just close her up, let her cook. All right, so we've been cooking now for a few hours. We're at about 101 internal. We're gonna go ahead and check it, and we're gonna spritz it. The spray that I'm using today is half water, half apple cider vinegar. You can use orange juice. You can use any sort of broth you want. This is just what I use. All right, taking a look at it here, you can already see it's breaking down and everything like that. All those scoring we did, it's penetrated really far. The meat's separating for me. This looks great. Now we're just gonna spray it. And that's it. Now we'll close it up and let it go for another 30, 40 minutes, and then we'll come out here, check it again, and spray it again. All right, so it's been on now for about 4.5-ish hours. I let it cook until it was around 100 internal, and now I've been spraying it every 30 minutes or so. And this is kind of where we're at. So we're gonna spray it again, just check it, make sure everything's fine, and then keep bringing it up to that temperature of 170 before we wrap it. You can smell it already. Not even close to being done yet. We're at that 170 internal that I was talking about earlier. Now we're gonna go ahead and get it wrapped up, get it put back on. From here, we'll increase the temperature to 275, and then we'll let this finish cooking all the way up until 204. So watch me wrap it, and I'll show you how to do that step next. All right, so we'll just put that in there. We're gonna start off putting honey across it. Next, we're gonna put a healthy amount of brown sugar. All right, now we got the brown sugar on. We're gonna go ahead and add the barbecue sauce that we're gonna use in this cook. With the barbecue sauce, just drizzle it all the way across the whole thing. All right, now that we're done with the barbecue sauce, last step is I'm gonna cut up some butter here. I'm gonna throw butter across the whole thing. Now we got all that stuff on there. Last step here, we're gonna go ahead and cover it up with foil, get it nice and sealed. All right, and now that we got that all set up, last thing we got to do is just put it back on the cooker. We're gonna let this roll, like I said, at 275 until this reaches an internal temperature of around 204, or until you can stick in there with a probe and everything is probe tender. So we're gonna go ahead and get this put back on, and I'll see you guys as soon as it's finished. All right, just like that, we're here. It got to around 204-ish throughout the entire thing. It's probe tender, so once it got to that point, we went ahead and took it off. It's been resting now for about 4 hours. I set it in the oven to give it the opportunity to come down in temperature slowly, and now we're going to go ahead and check it out and see the results of all that hard work. Oh yeah, and that looks awesome, absolutely awesome. You can already tell everything here is super tender feeling. Let's see if we can get in here. We'll grab this bone out. There we go. That's what we're looking for there. Clean bone. That's how you know everything's rendered down. And now the moment of truth. See how easily this shreds. Oh, yeah. That's pulled pork right there. Good Lord, that smells good. And that's it. Ultimately, this took around 18 hours to do because I kept the temperatures all really low. I didn't spike anything up, and I just babysat it. You know, I went out there and I made sure to spray it, took good care of it, and let it have the appropriate rest time. And we do that, and we end up with something like this, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to try it now. Oh, heck yeah. 100% worth the wait. Y'all got to try this. Let me know how you guys would do it. Tell me if you would do anything different. Leave a comment down below of any ideas you guys have for the next time. I appreciate you coming in. We'll see you around.